Well, I'll leave that to the two men on my right.
A bit concerned about the drying ground for Cuthbert Dibble. He's also running that for Thames. Give back Black Bamboo a positive mention as well. He's going back up in trip. The way he finished at Cheltenham would suit him, surely.
Yeah, he was just a bit of a negative in the paddock. Here they go.
The William Hill Handicap Hurdle gets us underway on Grand National Day here at Aintree, and Johnson's Blue is the first one to show in the light blue silks. Right up there handy early on as well is Classic Concord in the black and red with the cheek pieces. Watching them over at flight number 1. There was a small mistake from Black Bamboo and slightly interfered there with Fleur towards the rear of the field. So up by us with a couple of laps to go. It's Johnson's Blue who leads the way early on. From Classic Concord in second and Bold Endeavour, the red and white diamonds towards the outside of Lord Snootie. Between horses then is Cuthbert Dibble. Johnny Who is next, just in advance of Chantry House with that white cab. Landrake is following those on the inside in the yellow and green. A little bit wider out is J Todd, who's run well in this race before. West Bilbao, the previous winner, is next on the inside of Storm Nelson in black and yellow silks, and then top weighted Red Risk in those light blue silks sitting in midfield. Montmoral is just behind Red Risk. And then came Ailey Rose in the purple jacket from Gwennie May Boy in the purple and yellow. Seafin is some way back through them early on, together there with Fine Margin as they jump over flight number 2. There was another small mistake from Black Bamboo over that. Fleur remains towards the rear of the field along with Ramo and Fine Margin, just about last of all at this point as they head down the far side. Towards the middle flight over on the back, and it's Classic Concord and Johnson's Blue, the two who cut out the work. All safely out over flight number 3. From Bold Endeavour, Cuthbert Dibble and J Todd, then came Johnny Who, together with Chantry House. Behind Chantry House is Lord Snootie, the black sleeves and cab, as they skip over flight number 4. They're in turn clear from Storm Nelson, Red Risk and Gwennie May Boy and Montmoral. Then Ailey Rose and Seafin from Black Bamboo and Fine Margin and West Balboa. Still more towards the rear of the field is Russian Ruler toward the inside of Landrake, who's lost quite a few positions down the back straight. Ramo is last of all and must be spotting the leader about 15 lengths at this stage. Down the side of the course as they work their way back towards the top of the home straight for the first occasion. Classic Concord in the black and red with the cheek pieces now going on by a length or so to Johnson's Blue in second. Bold Endeavour remains handy in third. Then Cuthbert Dibble, Johnny Who and J Todd to the outside of him. More towards the inside then is Lord Snootie under Jack Tudor. Followed closely then by Chantry House and Red Risk, and then Ailey Rose in the purple from Gwennie May Boy in purple and yellow. Then Storm Nelson and West Balboa covered up in midfield to the inside in light pink and blue silks. Black Bamboo still more towards the centre. Yellow cap towards the inside then is Seafin, then Fleur and Storm Nelson and Fine Margin. Russian Ruler still toward the back with Landrake, who was second to last going out over that flight, and Ramo was the back marker. Flight number 7 looming large. It'll be their final jump in another circuit's time. It is Classic Concord together with Johnson's Blue, the leading pair, stepping over that flight. From handy then Bold Endeavour in the red and white. Cuthbert Dibble, Johnny Who the next two, then J Todd, and to the inside Lord Snootie. Chantry House, West Bilbao the next two. Then Red Risk and Montmoral in the yellow silks from Fine Margin, and Ailey Rose and Black Bamboo in amongst them there. Then Seafin and Fleur. Russian Ruler has 3 behind. There's a Ramo, Storm Nelson who's lost ground, and Landrake who's last of all as they begin to take the left-hander that would lead them through the national starting point and out into the back straight, with now 6 more flights of hurdles left to take in the opener on National Day. That is Classic Concord who leads up and shows by the best part of a length as they begin to turn into the far side. From racing in second and still very much handy on the inside as well as Johnson's Blue. They've always been prominent, that pair, and Bold Endeavour has always sat chasing them. J Todd wider out there from Johnny Who and Cuthbert Dibble, followed then by Lord Snootie over the first over on that back straight line. Storm Nelson jumped it slowly. Landrake is last of all. Those two getting a little way behind the others. Now towards the middle flight over on the back straight, and it's Classic Concord by 2 lengths. to Bold Endeavour and Johnson's Blue. J Todd and then Johnny Who from Cuthbert Dibble and lands over in 6th position from Lord Snootie and West Balboa, who still travels nicely just in behind the gallop. Chantry House a little wider from her. Then Montmiral and Seaford and Red Risk, and then came Black Bamboo and Fine Margin as they jumped over the final flight over on the back straight. Johnson's Blue almost now back level with Classic Concord as we're about to leave the far side. Bold Endeavour and then J Todd, Johnny Who and then Lord Snootie. Cuthbert Dibble, they're all chasing up the speed. Then Gwennie May Boy, West Balboa and Chantry House the next ones. From Black Bamboo and then came Montmiral. Fine Margin losing ground going around the turn. Red Risk is now under pressure. Russian Rule has never quite been in it. Ailey Rose has dropped away. Fleur is now also struggling. So we're about to turn towards home in the opener. The William Hill Handicap Hurdle being led by Classic Concord under Connor Brace. From Bold Endeavour, J Todd and Johnson's Blue. Then came Johnny Who and Lord Snootie from Gwennie May Boy and West Balboa. Every chance from there. Chantry House not too far away still. Then Montmiral in the yellow, approaching 3 out. Classic Concord landed with the lead, but now been swamped. J Todd, Gwennie May Boy coming there. Johnson's Blue under pressure. Johnny Who now serves it up to Gwennie May Boy. Bold Endeavour, Lord Snootie, West Balboa right in behind. Then J Todd and Montmiral. They're on the way down towards the final flight of hurdles, and it's Charlie Todd on board. Gwennie May Boy that leads the way. From Johnny Who racing along in second. West Balboa and Lord Snootie trying to challenge over the last. Gwennie May Boy landed running a good 3 or 4 lengths in front from Johnny Who. Then Lord Snootie and West Balboa clear from Montmiral. They're up the running, and it's Gwennie May Boy who is clear by 4 lengths. A real scrap on for second place, but no doubt about the winner. The opener will go to Gwennie May Boy. Gwennie May Boy home in front. Lord Snootie in second, tight for third, maybe just West Balboa from Johnny Who, then Montmiral, Black Bamboo and long-time prominent Classic Concord.
Variations on a theme. Skelton in a handicap hurdle again, and a big one, and at a festival. This time the second string, or was he? Gwennie May Boy wins for Charlie Todd. He stands aloft in the irons. Huge day for him, and daylight to the runner-up. Lord Snootie's run a fine race for Kitty's Lights trainer Christian Williams, right back to form. 1-3 for Skelton with West Balboa in third. Johnny Who's run a good race in fourth. Festival winner Montmiral is back in fifth. Quite long intervals, the longest interval between winner and runner-up. That was most impressive.
Yeah, very progressive young handicap hurdler this, isn't he? He's won his last 3. All 3 starts for the Skeltons have been wins for Gwennie May Boy. He's tanked through the race again. He's won with authority, and he's beaten well-handicapped horses into second, third and fourth as well. Lord Snootie down the weights, he's run his race. West Balboa has run a blinder again from a higher mark than last year, and Johnny Who, the unexposed one, was right in there as well for the places. But Gwennie May Boy, from after the second last, really, it was his race to lose.
Yeah, I was really impressed, and they're supposed to be extremely well contested, these handicaps, but find me a better and stronger handicap than this one when you look at the identities of some of those that are involved in the finish. Wide margin winner, but a novice Johnny Who showing his opening mark was tempting. Lord Snootie could have won and beaten Cuthbert Dibble 2 starts back, and then they gambled on Skelton. Yeah, as you say, first string, second string, we don't really know. The jockeys would suggest first, but Gwennie May Boy was right in the market as well. What chance have the others got? If the big gun doesn't win it, the Skelton second one can.
You mentioned the pace beforehand, Martin. I thought it was quite notable that there were quite a few, albeit long shots, that were completely out with the washing from a third of the way down the back final time.
Yeah, I think it was a really high intensity race from that perspective, wasn't it? And it was there was a real emphasis on stamina. I think we've got the right result, and the best handicapped horses come into the fore. It wasn't a messy, muddling race in any way. I suspect those front-running horses have done too much, but even the likes of Johnny Who, never too far away from the pace. He's probably run really well, actually, because he was just that little bit closer to a hot pace than the other principals.
Yeah, I like him a lot, though. That was a completely different environment for him than he's faced previously. Yeah, he's held his own. He wasn't so good 3 out as Gwennie May Boy, and at that point she just had the superior acceleration, it felt like. It was a test of stamina, of course, but she did have an extra gear or two at the foot of the weights that's allowed him to streak right away.
6 minutes 15 and bits the winning time, and the winning distance 7.5 lengths.
Really impressive. Yeah, this is it used to be trained by John Joe O'Neill. Gwennie May Boy, first win of the season came for the John Joe O'Neill yard. subsequently moved to the Skeltons, and he's won 3 on the spin, but just a young improver, isn't he?
He'll be looking at marking approaching 140 next time, and probably with good reason, after blowing apart such a well-contested handicap. Where does that progress end? He's gone through that race like a horse who is nowhere near his peak at the moment. In theory, this should have asked a bigger question of him. Higher grade of race, drying ground, a more prestigious track, you might say, and he's none of that has mattered one iota. He's just coped with the examination so well.
Just to pick up on a few of the others in behind, we've got Montmoral mid-pack in the yellow colours, the winner of the Potemps. I think his stamina was probably just maybe emptied a little bit in a race that was run at a stronger gallop. It's probably not suited him quite as well. He's still run fine, but I don't necessarily think the tempo of race did suit him actually quite as well as the Potemps did in a way. We've got the likes of Johnson's Blue backing out of it. Classic Concord has done too much, but has actually hung in amongst them for a long way to suggest that he's in good form.
Yeah, Bold Endeavour absolutely flat in the last when he'd been in the firing line as well himself. I think you can see just visually that horse is streaking away like this. Ground is drying all the time. I mean, you shouldn't really get 3 mile handicap hurdles on this track. Compare it to some of the ones we see in the autumn and winter here.